Before we explore his first teaching, let's pause and step into the world of Nagarjuna together. Have you ever noticed how a shadow looks real until you reach out to touch it? Nagarjuna begins with this same insight. Much of what we call real is more like a shadow, appearing solid but dissolving the closer we look. Lesson 1. The illusion of control. Have you ever noticed how much time we spend trying to control things far beyond our reach? Traffic on the freeway, the weather on a holiday weekend, even other people's opinions of us? Nagarjuna begins with a challenge. What if control itself is an illusion? At first, that sounds uncomfortable. After all, we're taught from childhood that if we just plan hard enough, work long enough, or push ourselves strongly enough, everything will go our way. But Nagarjuna invites us to pause and see. Much of what we cling to was never truly in our grasp. Imagine someone in Los Angeles stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, hands tight on the wheel, yelling at the clock. The truth? No amount of anger or stress will clear the road. Nagarjuna's wisdom whispers, freedom begins when we accept what we can't control and redirect our energy toward what we can, our response, our choices, our mindset. And here's the twist that hooks us in. By letting go of control, we actually gain a new kind of power, the power of inner peace. Think about it. Isn't it the moments when we stop fighting reality that we feel lighter, calmer, more alive? So the real question isn't, how do I control everything? But, how do I live fully in a world I can't control? Before we move on, keep that question close. Because Nagarjuna's next insight takes us even deeper into the fabric of reality itself. Lesson 2. The middle way, beyond extremes. We live in a culture that often pushes us toward extremes. Work harder, achieve more, or on the flip side, escape completely through distraction or indulgence. Nagarjuna's second teaching cuts right through this imbalance. Truth is rarely found in extremes, but in the middle. Picture someone chasing success in New York, burning through 80-hour work weeks, neglecting family and health. At first, society praises the hustle, but burnout creeps in. On the other side, imagine someone who avoids all responsibility, numbing out with endless entertainment. Both lives feel hollow. Nagarjuna's middle way isn't about mediocrity, it's about alignment. It's the quiet balance between ambition and rest, between self and others, between discipline and joy. When we live too far on either side, we lose ourselves. But when we walk the middle, we touch something steady and real. The beauty of this lesson? It's timeless. Whether you're a tech entrepreneur in Silicon Valley or a parent juggling family and work in Chicago, the middle way offers a compass. Don't chase extremes. Instead, discover the richness in balance. And yet, Nagarjuna doesn't stop there. He asks an even more startling question. What if even the things we think are real might be empty at their core? Lesson 3. The nature of emptiness. Now this might sound strange. Emptiness? Isn't that something to fear? But Nagarjuna's concept of emptiness isn't about nothingness. It's about possibility. Think of a clay pot. At first, we admire its shape, its craftsmanship. But what makes the pot useful is the empty space inside. Without emptiness, there's no room to hold water, rice, or flowers. In the same way, Nagarjuna suggests that everything in life, our identities, our possessions, even our beliefs, isn't solid or fixed. They're flexible, open, interdependent. Why does this matter? Because when we see that nothing is permanently fixed, we can stop clinging so tightly. The job title, the house, the argument with a loved one, all of these feel lighter when we realize they're not absolute. Let's bring it home. Imagine losing a job. If you believe your entire identity rests on that role, it feels like the end of the world. But if you recognize the emptiness of roles, you see space for something new, a career change, a passion project, a reinvention. Emptiness, then, is not a void, it's a doorway, and through it, we glimpse freedom. Which brings us naturally to the next lesson. If nothing is fixed, then how should we treat others, especially in moments of anger or division? Lesson 4. Compassion as the highest wisdom. In today's world, polarized politics, endless online arguments, the stress of everyday survival, compassion can feel like weakness. But Nagarjuna flips this idea upside down. Compassion isn't soft, it's the highest form of wisdom. Think of it this way. When we understand the emptiness of things, we realize we're all connected. My joy, my pain, my struggles, they're not separate from yours. Compassion grows naturally from this awareness. Take the story of a nurse in a crowded New York hospital. She works long shifts, often exhausted, but she still greets each patient with kindness. Why? Because she knows suffering isn't unique to her. It's part of the shared human story. Her compassion doesn't drain her. It fuels her resilience. Nagarjuna reminds us, compassion isn't about pity, it's about clarity. When you see that everyone is fighting unseen battles, harshness feels unnecessary. Instead, kindness becomes the most rational, powerful response. And here's the kicker. Compassion doesn't just heal others, it liberates us. Carrying resentment is heavy. Offering compassion is light. But compassion alone isn't enough. To live fully, Nagarjuna insists we must also recognize the fleeting nature of time itself. Lesson 5. The impermanence of all things. Pause for a moment and think about the last time you held on to something, hoping it would last forever. A relationship, a success, even a simple summer evening. And yet, everything changes. Nagarjuna's 5th lesson is clear. Impermanence isn't a threat. It's the rhythm of life. The cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C. bloom for only a few weeks each spring. People travel from all over the country to witness them, precisely because they know the beauty won't last. If the blossoms bloomed forever, would they carry the same magic? Impermanence teaches us to treasure the now. The smile of a child at the dinner table, the sound of rain against the window, the quiet moment before sleep, all of these are precious because they will pass. At first, impermanence feels like loss. But if we embrace it, it becomes freedom. We don't cling as tightly. We savor more deeply. We realize that endings aren't failures. They're invitations to begin again. And so, as we leave this lesson, a question lingers. If everything is impermanent, how should we live in a way that honors this fleeting, beautiful gift of life? Lesson 6. The middle way, beyond extremes. Imagine standing at the edge of a swinging bridge. On one side lies rigid dogma, on the other, reckless freedom. Nagarjuna reminds us, neither extreme brings balance. The middle way is not about compromise, it's about clarity. Many of us in America know the feeling of burnout, working 60 hours a week, chasing success only to find ourselves exhausted and empty. Others swing the other way, seeking comfort in endless distraction, Netflix binges, scrolling late into the night, only to feel restless and unfulfilled. Nagarjuna's middle way whispers, true peace comes not from extremes, but from walking the line between them. Think of the American Civil Rights Movement. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. didn't choose violent rebellion nor passive acceptance. They walked a courageous middle path, firm in principle, yet rooted in compassion. That balance became transformative. So how do we apply this in our daily lives? It could be as simple as pausing before reacting to an email that angers you, or balancing ambition with time for family. The middle way is not abstract, it's deeply practical. And here is the challenge. What extreme in your own life pulls you off balance? Hold on to that thought, because the next teaching will help us see why even the things we cling to the hardest, our opinions, our truths, may not be as solid as they seem. Lesson 7. The emptiness of views. We often believe our opinions define us. Democrat or Republican, conservative or progressive, we cling to views as if they are extensions of who we are. Nagarjuna gently disrupts this. All views, even the ones we hold most tightly, are empty of ultimate truth. Picture a glass of water. When you tilt it, the reflection of the world inside shifts. Does that make the water false? No, it's simply reflecting conditions. In the same way, our opinions reflect our upbringing, our culture, our limited experiences. They are not the whole picture. For an American viewer, this hits home in today's climate of polarization. Entire families split over political arguments at the dinner table. Nagarjuna's teaching does not tell us to abandon opinions, but to hold them lightly. To remember, I might be wrong. There might be more to see. This emptiness of views opens space for dialogue, for compassion. It allows us to see the humanity in others instead of reducing them to labels. Which opinion do you hold so tightly that you've stopped listening? Keep that in mind, because the next lesson challenges us even deeper into the very nature of truth itself. Lesson 8. Dependent origination. If everything we believe is shaped by conditions, then nothing exists in isolation. Nagarjuna calls this dependent origination. Every thought, action, or event arises because of countless causes before it. Think of the American dream. We often imagine self-made success. But look closer. Behind every entrepreneur is a teacher who inspired them, a parent who supported them, a society that provided roads, internet, or safety. Nothing stands alone. This teaching is not meant to strip away pride, it's meant to deepen gratitude. If my success is tied to others, then my responsibility extends to them as well. If my happiness depends on the well-being of my community, then compassion is not optional, it's logical. The ripple effect is real. A kind word to a stranger might seem small, but it may spark a chain of goodness you'll never see. Likewise, anger spreads, infecting more than we realize. So ask yourself, who helped you become who you are today? Keep their faces in mind, because the next lesson will ask us to rethink not just connection, but the very idea of reality. Lesson 9. The Two Truths. Nagarjuna presents a radical paradox. There are two levels of truth. The conventional, the everyday way we describe things, and the ultimate, the way reality actually is, beyond labels. Take a dollar bill. Conventionally, it's money. It buys food, pays rent, carries power. Ultimately, it's just paper with ink. Its value comes from collective agreement. Both truths are real, yet not absolute. For Americans, this lands powerfully. Our lives run on conventions, laws, traditions, words. Yet Nagarjuna warns us not to confuse convention with reality. This gap is where much suffering hides. A personal story makes it clear. Imagine being insulted on social media. Conventionally, those words sting. But ultimately, they are pixels on a screen, empty of inherent harm. Recognizing both truths frees us from overreacting, while still honoring the conventional world we live in. Keep this in your heart. Life is both real and not what it seems. Which brings us to Nagarjuna's final lesson, perhaps his most liberating insight. Lesson 10. Liberation through wisdom. At the end of all these teachings comes the gift. Liberation. Nagarjuna insists freedom is not about escaping life, but seeing it clearly. Wisdom cuts through illusions, leaving peace that cannot be shaken. In American terms, think of veterans who return from war scarred by trauma, yet some discover inner peace not from forgetting, but from accepting what is. Their wisdom allows them to live fully in the present moment, free from the chains of memory. Liberation is not dramatic. It may look like forgiveness of someone who wronged you. It may look like contentment, choosing gratitude instead of endless craving. It may look like breathing deeply when anxiety hits, remembering that even this moment will pass. The power of wisdom is not that it changes the world outside, but that it changes how we see it. So here's the question. What illusion in your life are you ready to release? Nagarjuna would say, on the other side of letting go, freedom is already waiting. As you leave this journey, ask yourself, how can I embody Nagarjuna's wisdom today? Not tomorrow, not in some distant retreat, but in the next word you speak, the next choice you make, the next step you take. Because the legacy of Nagarjuna is not preserved in books or temples, it is preserved in living hearts, yours included.